Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Blank Pages, the podcast. This is episode number 5, and I'm your host, Tim Pecoraro, and I'm so glad that you can join me today. Man, we're going to have a great topic today, I believe. It's one that I'm always working on for myself, and I encourage others to do the same, and it's all about behaviors and beliefs, or beliefs and behaviors, the invisible links. And man, it's an important topic. But before we begin, I would like to say thank you all for listening to the show. And I just want to encourage you to subscribe if you would, and rate the show, review the show, and share it as you feel led to do so. And I want you to know I'm working on several useful life resources that I believe are going to help you make this year an incredible one that will become the foundation for even years to come. These are simple tools, resources that they're just practical, as simple as 1, 2, 3, not complicated things to get your mind wrapped around, but they're simple, practical, accessible tools. They're going to be easy to comprehend and use. However, there's still going to be a challenge with it for you to do your part, the hard part of doing the hard work of introspection, reflection, observation, challenging you to change or maybe even transform your life to be what it was intended to be, with you being the main protagonist in your story and not a character in someone else's or even everyone else's story. What else? Well, there's something else. I'm working on a newsletter. I've an email newsletter that'll go out. It'll be monthly, and this is something I've not been one to really get into a lot of newsletters, just with the things I've had to do, and I never really needed to do anything like that. But what I want to do is just be able to create a resource at the end of each, or the beginning of each month, starting in February, I believe is the way it's going to be set up now. And then we'll just collect all the things that have happened prior in that month and just kind of give you a summary kicking off the new month with also some vision for what's to come. I'll be able to introduce new things I'm doing and so forth, so on. And I promise you, I'm not going to fill up your email box in your inbox. I don't want to live in there. I don't want you to have to live in there. So just know I'm just excited about it, and I promise I won't overwhelm you with it. So please, if you would like to do that, you can go into my Instagram. Wow, here I said that, Instagram. I don't even know where that came from. If you'd go to the link in my bio on my Instagram at Tim Pecoraro and simply sign up for the newsletter. That's a simple thing. You can access the link there in the show notes as well. So I'm going to put it in the episode show notes, but if you go to my Instagram at Tim Pecoraro, if you go to my bio, you should be able to see the link there and join. And again, I promise I'm not going to blow up your inbox with a bunch of stuff and offers. I don't want to be in your head that way. I'd rather be in your head with some good things that you can be thinking about for your life and on your journey. So here's the thing that I want to kind of get started with. I want to give you just a simple, I'm going to use like a little illustrations or a little story here, or just, I want you to have an example to be able to really grasp this thing on your belief and its relationship, or the link, the invisible link to your behavior. And a lot of folks, I mean, myself included, I think we underestimate the importance of really knowing your beliefs, not someone else's. What are yours? And how they impact you, and that it's also okay for you to evaluate your belief systems and look at them, because I do believe we all lose direction. I believe everything can drift off course. And so it's very important for us to kind of guide ourselves back. So just imagine, right? So just to kind of illustrate this a little bit, imagine someone named John, right? A guy named John, a dedicated, say he's a teacher who always believed that strict discipline was key to student success. And so this belief led him to a rigid teaching style that, without him knowing or unbeknownst to him, it ultimately stifled creativity in his classroom, right? So why am I bringing that up? Because we need to explore how our deepest beliefs, like John's, invisibly shape our behaviors and consequently our lives and the lives of those around us. I mean, I want you to think about that. That our beliefs invisibly shape our behaviors. Do you hear that? They shape them. And consequently, our lives and the lives of those around us. Obviously, if you're a parent, you understand that. And there's so much I'm gonna continue this for the next several weeks. I'm gonna get even deeper into the belief system, and I'm also going to speak about how that relates to like your relationships. And I'm really looking forward to how this new year is gonna go and what I'll be doing in this first quarter of the year, because I want to get into all of that stuff, into the behavior and the belief, into the relationships, and all of the things that are so important for us to be successful in our year. So I want to lay those things and help us to do them right. So if we understand that our beliefs invisibly will shape our behaviors, right? And if that's true, and consequently our lives and the lives of those around us, then we're going to have to learn the importance or understand the connection and the importance of understanding it. It's not just about self-improvement. So we can't just look at this from I'm just going to improve. It's about creating a world where our actions are in harmony or aligned with our true intentions. I like to let people know when I'm working with them, and I've done this. I mean, many times I have failed miserably, that the thing that I intended to do came out different. The thing that was my intent was misunderstood or heard differently. That happens. And sometimes you can feel left without any remedy. And it's just the way it goes. And so you have to learn to align the impact and your intention. So if you know the impact you want, so you're going to have to say, okay, then I'll back up to what I intend to do and make sure the steps I take align with the impact I ultimately want, right? That's an EQ thing, emotional intelligence thing, which I know people call them soft skills, but that's why we're suffering, because everyone goes after all the knowledge and the skills stuff, like they want to learn a trade or all these other things, or how to work on a soft skill a harder skill, a more defined skill. And then the soft skills, as I call them, I think are the most important ones. The ones that deal with your personal competency and understanding of your own self-awareness and self-management, as well as the social competency, your social awareness, and your relationship management. I know it's a lot, and I know you've heard so many people talk about this, but let's just have this conversation. Let me just put this out there. And if you would, remember, nothing listens better than a blank piece of paper. If you have the opportunity, you can review it later or go to the show notes and look at these things I'm going to put out here for takeaways, okay? But I want to assure you of something, that the shaping of one's belief is influenced by a combination of universally recognized factors. So what I'm going to talk to you about is not just my viewpoint. These are universally recognized factors. It's influenced by the combination of these. And so I'm going to list some of these out, and this is what I'll be doing in the next episodes coming. But it's influenced by culture and society. The culture and social environment in which a person grows up plays a significant role in shaping their beliefs. It's going to include the traditions and the social norms and the collective values. Then there's the family influence. And the family beliefs and values are often passed down through generations, significantly impacting a person's own belief system. And that's family influence or lack thereof, or whatever would be considered family. Family could be like, I know what it's like when you're on your own, and family could be the community of friends that you make, and you just go through different things. And if you're a child that grew up maybe with one parent or no parents, or you grew up with grandparents, all those things have an impact. Then the education, be it formal, informal education, it's going to expose individuals to different ideas, theories, and worldviews, influencing their belief systems. That's what universities are supposed to do, but unfortunately, it looks like universities are they're just choosing sides and being directional in the way that they want to go. Then there's personal experiences, right? Individual experiences, their interactions with other people, their achievements, challenges, all of those will contribute to shaping beliefs. And religion and spirituality, religious teaching, spiritual experiences, those are going to have a big impact on your beliefs and values. Media, oh my gosh, and information sources. I'm one of those people, listen, if you're going to listen to the news, listen to all of it, listen to every side. Don't just pick your favorite, because what's going to happen is you're going to only listen to the thing that aligns with you. And what's so funny is, especially with some of the people I know, and they talk about unconscious bias and all this other stuff, and I'm like, literally all their sources comes from their biased opinions. They don't use anything else. And so it's very hard for people to listen to that when you tell someone to be an open-minded person or have an open mindset, but yet you aren't open to options in your open mindset. I wonder if that's still a fixed mindset. But I digress. Let me move back where I am. Peer influence. It's another one. Friends and social groups can impact beliefs, especially during your formative years. How about the economic and political environment? The economic conditions and what's going on in politics and what you grow up in and around and what you allow yourself to listen to, that's going to once again shape your beliefs about society, governance, and economics. Science and technology. Scientific discoveries and technology advancements will definitely influence beliefs about the world and our place in it, your place in it, their place in it, however you want to view it. And then there's psychological factors. These are the cognitive biases, the mental health and psychological development. These are all going to play a role in how beliefs are formed and maintained. So, I mean, that's a lot. I know it's a lot. And I want you to know I'm going to come back to those at a later date, but I want you to see that I'm coming at this from a holistic point of view. I really want to be helpful. I mean, my goal is that I want you to know that I care about you, I can add value, and that you can trust me, that I'm working on that. I'm working to earn that, right? And so, hey, here we go on this topic. So let's define beliefs and behaviors, right? So let's start here. And this is the core of what I'm going to talk about. Beliefs are the lens through which we view the world, formed by our experiences and cultural backgrounds. So they're going to manifest in our behaviors, which then are basically our beliefs in action. That's what it is. So let me say it again. Beliefs are a lens through which we view the world. Okay, it's formed by our experiences and our cultural backgrounds, and they manifest in our behaviors, which would be considered your belief in action, or which is your beliefs in action. So that's the definition. So the second thing is, let's talk about the impact of those beliefs on your behaviors. So for instance, if someone believes that success only comes from hard work, guess what? They might overwork themselves, ignoring other aspects of their life. I know that. And I could do it all for the right reason. There are so many things I missed when my kids were growing up because I was hard at work. And I didn't see a lot of those things. And yes, those are things that, looking back, obviously hindsight's 2020, I would do different, but my belief system told me that that's what you do. You work hard and you do your things. I was present when I was with my kids and doing stuff with them. However, it was so still, it was like the rest of me, or what was left of me at times, more so than the best of me. And it was because my belief was driving that behavior so much that I gave myself the freedom to not feel bad about it, because it was what I knew to do. You always work hard. There's no excuse. Provide for your family. Take care of that. However, that's my story. And I've told people this. There's a story. That's one thing. But then there's the message. And I've said this in the previous podcast, but so what is the message I was telling my kids? That's going to come from, that's the impact of beliefs on my behaviors, and then resulting in missed time or things that happen because of how I grew up. So once I had that revelation, I needed to do this third thing. I had to have a self-evaluation and recognition, or, this is what I had to do. I had to recognize my own core beliefs, and I had to start reflecting on the reasons behind my repeated actions. Like, why do I repeat that? Why do I still go to work? Or what about just sometimes if you're just mean? What if sometimes you joke too much, you goof off? What if, there's a lot of things. You just got to know where it comes from. And look, it's okay, right? And it's okay to have those things happening. But what's not okay is for us not to understand, going back to our personal competency, having our own self-awareness as well as our own self-management. These are key. These are important for us to know. And the only way you're going to find out is through self-evaluation and recognition. So a great question to ask yourself is this: why, that's a purpose question, do I always react this way in this situation? That's just an example. Now, the fourth thing is you want to work on the change process, right? So the first one, you got to define your beliefs and behaviors. Second is, what's the impact of beliefs on behaviors? The third is self-evaluation and recognition. The fourth is the change process. Okay. So changing a core belief starts with challenging it. Ask yourself, is this belief always true? Does this align with my current values and goals? How does this impact the people around me? And if it does, or the impact that it does have on them around me, is it positive or negative? And the only way to find that out is you're going to have conversations and ask. So once again, this is the process of change. You have to ask yourself, is this true? Is it always true? Does it align with my current values and goals? Do I need to reassess those? And then ultimately, how's it impacting those around me, right? Which that is the key into number 5. The impact on self and others now. So those questions now, when you get to that last one, the impact of others, you have to go into step 5, which is basically saying, I've got to look at this. I have to realize that altering a belief can lead to significant positive changes. So let's go back to that story of John, where I mentioned in the very beginning, where John was his teacher, real strict. It just kind of stifled the creativity in the room, right? It's just sucked the life right out of it. So for John, embracing a belief in the power of creativity transformed not just his teaching style, but also his students' learning experience. So once John recognized that that strict way of doing things was robbing creativity, once he loosened that up, the creativity thrived and the students' learning experience changed. Remember, that's the key. It's getting the student, right? If he's a teacher, the goal is for them to learn. What we want to do is teach the way we would like to. And sometimes what we have to do is change. We're still teaching, but change our approach. In order to maximize beyond a one-to-one setting, a group full of people, we need to maximize the opportunity for everyone in the room to learn. Like this, even this podcast. Every week I just work on I want to present it the way I want to present it, but I also want to be mindful of who's listening to make sure that I can reach them in a clear way. So back to the core of this. These are the 5 things. Number 1, define beliefs and behaviors. Number 2, you want to find out what's the impact of beliefs on behaviors. 3, you want to do self-evaluation and recognition. And 4, you want to work on the change process. And then number 5, you want to have that impact on self and others. You want to look at that. So these are going to be your key takeaways, right? I want you to think about it as beliefs are the blueprint. So our beliefs form the blueprint of our actions. They are the unseen architects of our behavior. I'm going to say it again, that beliefs form the blueprint of our actions, and they are the unseen architects of our behaviors. The second thing is awareness is your first step. Becoming aware of these beliefs is like turning on a light in a dark room, right? Bloop. Wow, I can see. Even the smallest light can shed the greatest insight in a dark situation. See, suddenly everything becomes clear when you turn a light on. And that's all we need. And when the light comes on, don't be afraid. Don't scurry. Don't run. Just look at it, embrace it, and make some different decisions. And then change is possible. The third thing you need to understand, it's empowering to know that by altering our beliefs, we can change our behaviors and ultimately our outcomes. And then the fourth, impact beyond self. These changes will ripple out, affecting not only us, but also those that are around us in profound ways. So I'm looking for that ripple effect. I do want to make sure, just as equally as I've impacted people in the negative in the past, which we all have, if you're honest, you have. And some people run. Some people are so afraid to know that they've done it. They may know it, but they get away from it. I think the best thing you can do is just recognize those places where that has happened and then work on the change. And this time that change now creates a new ripple, one that's going to have a powerfully positive impact, new impact, different way. And then the fifth is continuous process. Just remember that this is a continuous journey and our beliefs evolve as we do. And it's okay to revisit and revise them. So I want to conclude by simply saying that our beliefs are powerful, silent guides of our actions. Grab a hold of that picture, would you? That's pretty strong. And if you're wondering about what you're doing and you're seeing your behaviors, you got to go back to your beliefs. You got to see how it impacts you and the lives of others. And also, for those of you who are still working on your one word for the year, guess what? I have a free resource. Go into my Instagram at Tim Pecoraro. Look at the bio link, and you can click on the newsletter, and you will see the availability for the resource there, or should be on the link itself for the newsletter. It's a free resource. I would encourage you to use it. It'll help you find your one word. And if you need a little help, shoot me a DM in Instagram, and I'll see what I can do to help you along. Until then, continue to fill up those blank pages. And remember, nothing listens better than a blank piece of paper. Your story is worth writing. And even though you have less pages in front of you, it seems the older we get, however, you should be able to write much better the more you figure this thing out. So until next time, I'll talk to you later.